and we'll post the recording there, in a day or two. And so I think we'll just do it there. And normally we send it out to everybody, but I think we'll just have them there. I'll post them in Workplace as well. And that way, if you want them, you know where to get them now. So we do have, if you look there, you'll see the agenda. We'll be meeting again in 2 weeks. We're alternating Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So the next meeting will be Tuesday, the 19th. Steve Sturman from University of Buffalo will be talking about a course they use to help faculty use immersive VR. And just to remind you, so Jay and Ya-Ling will talk for about half an hour and take questions on their topic today, supporting international faculty and staff at Brockport. And then with the second half hour, we can continue to talk about that topic if there are more questions or discussion, or we can take the discussion in another direction. I have some news to share if you have or haven't seen. It's not LMS related actually though, although we could talk about that recent announcement as well. And then, yeah, whatever, again, so if you're thinking, if you have questions or if you have thoughts or anything you want to share, feel free to, think about that and then bring that up in the second half hour. The other thing I'd like everybody to do too is just put your name and your campus in the chat. So we get a sense of who's here. I mean, kind of have a sense of who's here looking out there, but we don't have your campuses. So we get to know what campuses are represented. So if you can just put your name and your campus in the chat, that would be great. And I'm just gonna now turn it over to Jay and Ya-Ling. Thank them for being here. Go ahead, guys.
Thanks, Chris, for having us. And today, joining me together are my colleagues, Ya-Ling, Chen, and Pearlman. So I'm so thrilled to share this, to take this opportunity to share with you how our one-year FLC faculty learning community on international faculty developed into an ongoing international faculty and staff association. So now I'm going to share my screen so we can go with the PowerPoint. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we see your entire, oh, there we go. Looks good, Anne.
Okay, great. Great, thanks. Yeah. So here are our email information after the workshop. If you have any questions or concerns you want to connect with us, please feel free to contact us. And we have a full agenda, and because of the time, I'm just going to skip this slide. Ya-Ling, please go ahead.
Sure. Hi, everybody. So I am gonna talk about a little bit about some background and of our FLC. So we start this group as an faculty learning community, which is kind of our CELT center of, hold on, Jay, I'm sorry, what is CELT stands for? I think I should know, but
it's okay, Ya-Ling. Center for Excellence Learning and Teaching, CELT. And I think Chris was the one who brought this into Brockport campus, and we continue to do it and loved it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Jay, and thanks, Chris, for starting this at Brockport. So we started faculty learning community. So basically, it's CELT. They call for a proposal, and the leader, whoever wants to be the leader of faculty learning community, can submit proposal. So basically, this is a kind of a small group of faculty or professional staff across discipline, so campus wide. And then so also trying to build a kind of a tight-knit group on campus, and then making a year-long commitment. I think one of the incentive that the college gave us is like we have a very tiny, small fund that we can do something. It's along with our purpose of faculty learning community. So Jay actually was the one who submitted the proposal to put the international faculty together. Okay, so Jay, can you go next, please? Next slide.
Going.
Okay. So in a lot, so this is some kind of recap for the literature review. So the 10 qualities of the success of FLC. So I think those are very important because we feel like we end up being a very close group on campus. You know, if that wasn't for this FLC, I really don't think that we would kind of have known so many other international faculties across the campus, you know, and we build up our professional relationship as well as friendship. So I want to be specific talking about safety and trust. So I think that's a very important quality for a successful FLC because I think our group does share a lot of personal feelings and we feel that's a safe place to talk. So it's really like a support group because sometimes some of the feelings that we feel like only international faculty can actually resonate the same feelings. So that's why we kind of establish in create a very safe place for FLC. So I think that's why we had really successful FLC. Jay, next, please. So based on the literature, there's so many benefits, but I'm not going to read each bullet points. Also, hopefully our whole presentation later on, you can definitely, you want to make sure that we demonstrate or at least imply that we actually have all those benefits from this FLC. Next, please. Okay, so we have goals for our FLC, and also I think it's important because we have a group of people, especially you get a group of people together. Everybody have different needs and wants. So I think have a clear goal that where the group wants to go are very critical and essential. That, you know, even though we might do things a little differently operationally, but we do have a very clear and similar goal for our groups. Jay, next, please. And so maybe some of you will wonder, well, you know, I'm not international faculty, so and then I can't change my identity to international faculty either. So we want to have Anne to talk about. So, you know, you don't have to be coming from other country to be able to be in this group or being supportive of this group. So I want to have Anne to talk a little bit about, so what is the role of allies for international faculty to be in a supportive role? And
thank you. So I think what was important, I joined this faculty learning community, and when I first entered Brockport, I was in CELT working with Chris, and I joined faculty learning communities throughout the whole time we worked together. And from there, what was generally you're in there and you're getting personal growth, but what was beneficial for me being in the faculty development piece was I was able to, you know, to bring back things that I heard the community talk about. And mainly in faculty development, you really want to be supportive, you want to listen to the faculty, and you want to collaborate. So being here allowed that to happen. I didn't know about the word ally until after Jay and I talked about this. I didn't know I'd be considered ally. That was a new term to me because I've always been I've worked with international faculty, and I've had multicultural my whole life people. So I didn't see it as anything different. But then I realized being there that I was able to be exactly what we say you need to do: supportive, listen to what the needs are, and then collaborate, and then for the teaching and learning and research opportunities. So I think as anybody who's working in there, it's important to be part of that and be an ally for that, because like you're saying, it's more than, you don't want it just to be the group and not have support outside too. It needs to be holistic. So that's the beauty of being part of the group and how in faculty development it's important.
Thanks, Anne. So about our FLC, we have 9 participants from 6 departments. And when I counted, we actually have 9 country origins. So like, it doesn't matter our legal status is, but we are like originally we're from 9 different countries. And one thing Ya-Ling and Anne both mentioned about the platform of the safety and the collegial for all. I think as the facilitator of this FLC, one thing I learned from Chris and I try to implement throughout our FLC is I need to have the open mind. I need to slow down and listen to our members' needs and wants. And I need to be flexible, to be willing to make adjustments based on our members' concerns and needs and wants. So I think that makes the FLC unique, and also which later on, because of its success, we turn it into a campus standing organization of the International Faculty and Staff Association. And we are going to talk more about other things, but one thing is throughout this 1 year FLC, we did a report, a summary report, including some resources and also a list of the contact people for our campus community. So later on, like if people have questions related to international faculty and staff members, they sometimes they will contact us to ask for help. And also at the end of the FLC, we got all the energy going on in our group, and we were talking about, wow, it's so sad the FLC was just a 1 year term, and now we kind of have to departure from here. What about the next step? So that brings to our next step. We worked together during the summer and put together a proposal to our Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, which was approved to turn this 1 year FLC with limited 9 members from different departments into a standing long campus organization, International Faculty and Staff Association. And so the impact of this 1 year FLC to the IFSA was huge, I will say. Not only impacted our international faculty and staff members, but also like we include or welcomed allies like Anne and a lot of members. I was checking about our IFSA membership the other day, just recently, and now we have 43 members, and out of these 43 members, 14 are allies without international origins. So this is just one thing we would like to share with you. And also FLC's members, a lot of them are faculty members and also professional staff members who have the scholarship requirement as one of the requirements of our renewal or promotion. So scholarship activities are important to us. And this FLC provided us a lot of opportunities to collaborate. So this is just one example of a, at that time, accepted book chapter, but it just got published this week. So this is just an example. And throughout this this 1 year, we have been very productive. We have, I think, 3 journal articles either published or under review at that time, and we have this 1 book chapter accepted, and also we did a lot of presentations at different levels. So I will invite Ya-Ling to talk more about the presentations and the professional development.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. So as you can see, we have a whole list of accomplishments, but Jay and I we really like to kind of highlight several of them to kind of give you a sense what exactly we do as a group. So this one is so you see we have probably 5 or 6. So it's all that we are all members of this international FLC. So we did a presentation at South Brown Bag discussion. So basically we not only it's not a closed door anymore. We wanted to share our experience. We want to share our findings and some of the experiences to the whole campus. So we didn't. So we wanted to actually grab any opportunity that we can actually kind of share our experience with the whole campus. And so this one, as you can see, is a March 2020, where when everybody was just got shut down and everybody was all of a sudden switched to a distant learning mode back then. And so a lot of sessions for our South sessions got canceled because I think everybody back then was still trying to navigate and figured out how to do that. But we as a group decided to still moving forward, change it to an online format. I think that's in a lot of levels. We wanted to kind of showcase that we were fully prepared, and also we really dedicate about what we are passionate about. So in that presentation, we talk about sense of belongings of faculty and staff, and teaching style, and faculty and student interaction, and a mentorship with students, and etc. Coming from our international faculty perspectives. So that one was, I believe that we did receive a lot of positive feedback for this specific presentation. Yeah, so next, please.
Yeah, thanks, Ya-Ling. Before we move to the next, may I just chime in? So in addition to this one, so Ya-Ling was just using this as one example. And in addition to this presentation, I counted, actually, we did 6, like our members did 6 presentations at the national, international level for that year, and 2 at the state level, and 4 at local levels, including this one. And then we also have 5 presentation proposals get accepted, but unfortunately the conferences were postponed because of the global pandemic. In addition, we have another 2 presentation proposals get accepted, but the conference got canceled because of the pandemic. So this is just to show you as another example of like how passionate our group members were about our topics, as well as how ready we were. Doesn't matter the situation. Yeah. Thanks, Ya-Ling.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah, so thanks, Jay. Just kind of we are very proud of our accomplishment. So, and then so we started from 9 members, I believe, on first year. And then, like Jay said, we have 43 members right now. So we are growing. So next slide, please. And then, so from 9 members, now we have global. We do have a global participation in our group. So those flags just represent some of the countries or originality, and a lot of us are citizens, but it doesn't matter the citizen status. It's just where the original countries that we're from or associate with, culturally. Next, please, Jay.
Yeah, thanks, Ya-Ling. So this is our mission of our IFSA. You can see from the 1 year FLC, we turned out to be the standing organization of IFSA. And another difference between FLC and this IFSA is FLC was kind of a under CELT, affiliated with CELT with limited budget. And in the year of 2019 to 2020, when we have our FLC, we actually received some money at the beginning of the school year. But when the pandemic hit, when we proposed some professional development, I think the books, etc., we got turned down because at that time, the whole campus got the budget frozen, so we didn't spend any money, unfortunately. And the IFSA now is affiliated with the OEDI, the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, and we can recruit more members. So as Ya-Ling and I mentioned earlier, we come from 9 members, 9 faculty and professional staff members to 43 faculty and staff members. And we reached out to more campus divisions and departments. And the focus is no longer teaching and learning only. Of course, because of the large faculty components, the teaching and the learning still is one of the center focus, as well as the scholarship. However, we also talk about the service, the impact on campus, how as a whole group we can do advocacy for our members. So the scope from every area has been expanding. And we invited guest speakers. We connected with other people, including higher administrators, and we made presentations to them and listened to their advice. And we generated some business reports to the president, to our provost, etc. And also you can see here, we are dedicated with the scholarship collaboration as well. And in addition, I think we contribute more to the campus, especially the campus diversity, because of the service level. So here is an example of how we made connections on campus and beyond SUNY Brockport. I hardly remember, this is my 14th year here at Brockport, and I hardly remember I had a direct dialogue opportunity with our president or our provost, but because of the IFSA, we did have the opportunity to invite our president coming to one of our meetings to share with her our concerns and some suggestions and explore some ways to maybe not to resolve the issue, but maybe improve the situation. So as the provost and CDO, et cetera, I don't think this is kind of like have to align with the administration, but I just think this IFSA provide us a very good platform to have the opportunity to have dialogue with these administrators, to share with them our concerns and to share with them our suggestions. And also we are making connections beyond the Brockport. I don't think as a one faculty member, I would ever even think I will have the opportunity to do so. And even when we were at FLC, we didn't make that kind of connections, but now with the IFSA, we were able to do that. And also the service, campus-wide service from our members, I believe this also increased our presence on campus. So like our provost at that time was leading the Prodigy Committee, and our IFSA members serve also on this Prodigy Committee. This was a 10 to 12 members committee. And we conducted surveys and generated reports such as the student-teacher evaluation. We called on campus, we called it IAS. So that has some impact on our faculty members' renewal and promotion. So we did a survey about that. And we also surveyed the chairs for the mentoring needs or mentoring status and find some mentorship needs from our faculty members. And also our president invited Dale Carnegie to do a 9-week training program on EDI leadership, and 5 of our members participated in that. As one of the products, we did another survey, and because it was just a very quick and very fast 9 weeks. So we did a survey to our international faculty and the staff group and asked for their experience and their needs for the onboarding support. And it was very eye-opening when we submitted the report to our administrators, and some of the issues they will never think about, like even how to open a bank account, how to find a an apartment and how to get the the kids enrolled in the local schools once we moved here, etc., etc. For a lot of our local colleagues, there never be a problem for that, but for our international faculty and staff members, this becomes the issue and we need help. So these are some of the things we did. Of course, as a researcher, I want to use some data to show you why it's so important for our international faculty and staff members to be taken seriously on campus. So this is just the data comparing Brockport, and the blue one is the SUNY-wide and yellow one is the nationwide. And you can see Brockport definitely is a white dominant university, and even comparing to the SUNY-wide or the US-wide, the nationwide. And this is a percentage chart of the people from different ranking, like lecturers, instructors, assistant, associate professors, and full professors, and with different ethnicity. And you can see dominantly nationwide, white male and female colleagues are the majority comparing to the other ethnicity groups. And here, we received the data from our HR, and on Brockport campus, we have been increasingly recruiting faculty members with H-1B visa, which means the international faculty members. However, recruiting, of course, this is a very positive, like we're trying to increase the diversity of the campus. However, when we recruit them, how do we retain them is also an issue, right? We don't want to just let them in, and then what kind of support they need to be successful so that they can stay here on campus. This is another big question. So I think with the statistics, it may provide you a little bit idea of why it's important for us to have the FLC and then develop this FLC into the international association. And then I'm going to just use the next 3 slides very quickly, talk about why it's so important for us to learn about each other, to try to understand each other. And the Hofstede 6 dimension of the national culture, well, I included the links and the information in this slide. So if you are interested in, you can look at more. And I'm just going to give you an example. So he mentioned about the 6 dimension, like the power distance, individualism versus collectivism, etc. And you can see, I just did it like based on my background as a Chinese faculty. So Canada is green and the Chinese is red and the US is blue here, blue bars. And you can see from all the dimensions, we are so different, except the third one, the masculinity and the feminine. I think we have very similar concepts or closer concept, very masculinity tendency. But for the others, for example, the power distance, the individualism, of course, the Chinese, like the very collectivism in comparing to the individualism. Nothing right or wrong here, but it's just to show how different we are. That's why when I came here as a faculty from the different perspective, different culture background, different educational background, how do I merge into this campus? Am I fit in? Can I fit in? Or am I going to say something or do something to offend my colleague? I don't know. So these are the questions I have to constantly ask myself. And I believe a lot of my international faculty and staff members are also asking themselves, do I have a fit on this campus? So this is why it's so important for us to learn each other, to interact with each other. And this is why I'm very appreciative. Like I have colleagues like Anne who are so supportive as an ally, and I actually don't use that word very often because I just call Anne as my colleague. So this is just from the statistics and from the cultural backgrounds. And now I'm going to talk very quickly about like because of the challenges, I always believe challenges bring out us opportunities as well. So the international faculty and staff members have needs, have interests, and have some challenges. So how can we do this as an IFSA to support them, to provide them more opportunities? And I would like to invite Ya-Ling to talk a little bit more about the member recruitment.
Thanks, Jay. So like Jay said, even though we are very, very happy the growth that we have right now, we have 43 members. However, we still we still hope that we can have more international faculty join us. So for Jay and I, we both come from kind of Chinese culture, that we probably the only two international faculty in this group, but we do know there's dozens of them out there. I mean, just from Brockport campus. Just not all the international faculties are interested, which is totally fine. It's, everybody has different, passion, needs, and wants. But we do think that we will hope to get them hope to get them to this group one day, that hopefully to get them to be part of this group as well. So Jay, you want to talk about a little bit about mentorship?
Thanks, Ya-Ling. So mentorship is very important, especially to our junior faculty members. I believe, like, from different cultural background and educational background, without my mentors, I won't be who I am right now at a professional level, like within the 14 years I'm at campus. So I'm all for the mentorship. On the other hand, I think the mentorship also takes time from the mentor and the mentee. So how we as the IFSA can create a mechanism to support the both mentors and the mentees is like one challenge, and also an opportunity for us to explore. And also from the advocacy perspective, like I know, for example, for a lot of international faculty members, we have accent, and how our students take our accent may be different, and it may, they take it negatively, it may impact their evaluation to us as international faculty members. So in our IFSA, we had spent quite a few meetings talking about the impact of IFSA and how can we advocate for international faculty and staff members. And related to this, it's not only the re-evaluation of the current use of IS scores to be considered during the faculty members promotion and renewal, and also how to increase or improve our students' intercultural competency, and how can we educate our students to be more open-minded. These can be brought up in as open dialogue, not only within our campus, but also I think SUNY-wide. Maybe this is an interesting dialogue.
Okay, maybe you could just wrap up with this slide in a minute, then we'll get to Q&A and discussion.
Oh,
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We are here at the.
Oh, I wanted to see that best practice slide. That last one. Look, I want to definitely. Yeah.
Oh, the best.
Yeah, that one. If we could just maybe finish up on this one.
Yeah.
So I will wrap it up in 30 seconds. So looking from us, from a small FLC to a campus-wide association, we have some of the experience going to share with you. So find your allies. I think it's very, very important. Like I said, international faculty has a limited number, and then you could be an ally. And even within the group, we learn a lot from an ally. Just like Jay shared, we have different things, especially from collectivism culture. We have different things approach or resolve things. So I think it's very good that we learn from each other. And set up clear goals. I think for any group, that's very important, that to set up a clear goal and advocate for ourselves. So being persistent, we actually, as a group, the first year in FLC, we submitted a Brockport diversity conference, and our proposal got rejected. That was a huge disappointment and disencouragement. But we didn't beat by that. We keep submitting different conferences and different campus-wise, trying to advocate ourselves and trying to be, increase our visibility on campus. So now we are where we are. That actually, I think the president and provost office, if they have anything EDI related, we are definitely one of the first group that they mind right now. I'm not saying we as this group, we have anything to make any huge decision, but we are heard as for now. Okay, so thank you so much. I think I'm just make this conclusion here.
Thank you both, Jay, Ya-Ling, and that was great. I mean, I like how you really did a good job explaining what it's like to be in an FLC, but also kind of you brought in concerns of international faculty, addressing DEI on campus among faculty and staff, and so helping faculty advocate for themselves, to communicate with administrators. I mean, everything is wrapped up in there. So, any questions from? I didn't see any come through the chat, but does anybody want to jump on with their mic or throw a question in the chat? Feel free to just open your mic or.
Chris, hi, this is Athena Tsimbelis from UB.
Hi, Athena.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing that story, and just listening to all of the work that you all did to get this started is quite impressive, So thank you for doing that. My husband is international and went through the engineering program here at UB many, many years ago, and many times I think about the experience he must have had then, and I wonder how much better it would be now. I don't really know, but he went through a lot of trauma, and so I think everything that you're doing is going to help some of the international faculty a great deal, and hopefully the word can get spread out. And I'm wondering too, if we had a group from UB that were interested in this, I think what I would like to do would be to have them join your group, or I don't know if that's possible, I guess, with all the SUNY schools. So what's your thought on, getting other campuses together in terms of pools of international faculty?
Thank you, Asina. So I can share, and then feel free to join me, Ya-Ling and so welcome to connect with us. So we have our bi-weekly meetings via Teams, so we can invite anyone who's outside of our Brockport campus who are interested in joining us, join us. And we did it with one SUNY Pittsburgh faculty member, and she joined some of our meetings, not everyone because of the schedule, but some of the meetings. And then she brought back, and I think that she is trying to develop their own international organization, faculty organization on her campus. So I think if Athena, you and your colleagues are interested in, please feel free to contact us. And I got the opportunity to email the SUNY University Faculty Senate chair on the committee of the EDI, and she was talking about 2 weeks ago when we were in the planning meetings. She was talking about the interest of the diverse faculty members, and I contacted her, and she said she is interested in bringing this model to back to COBOL scale, as well as maybe explore ways to develop it at the SUNY level. So I think collectively we can make something huge. So thank you, Athena.
Yeah, so I mean, that's something I've wanted to see for a while, having cross-campus FLCs. I will say this though, for FLCs, that part of what makes them work is that, I mean, initially the one that you had, Jay, I mean, if you look at the Miami University got resources and guidelines, or best practices for creating FLCs, that there's a magic number there of having like about 6 to 10 faculty initially join them. If you have more than that, that could be helpful. And in fact, as I said before, we have a group of new tenure track faculty, those who've been hired in the last few years, and cross SUNY, and there's about, I don't know, 50 people signed up for that. So it's a little different. But the reason why FLCs and what makes FLCs kind of effective is that the faculty decide what they're going to do. They decide the objectives. They decide how they're going to do it. And then your Center for Teaching and Learning, or whoever else in your campus, as responsible for faculty development, just supports them in that. It gives them some structure, gives them some guidance, and then just lets them go and do their thing. If you have more than 6 or 10 people, a couple of things: you're never going to find a time that everybody can meet, and it might be more difficult to come up with agreement around objectives and how you're going to accomplish those objectives. So again, that said, there may be a reason to do these kind of cross-campus collaborations. They just might be a little different than the type of FLC that Jay talked about initially here. And there's no, I guess we could. I'm happy to willing to consider all different types of communities and collaboration system-wide and on campuses. So Jay's willing to participate in helping to connect international faculty across campuses. Like I said before, the CPD would definitely be willing to support that.
Yeah, Chris,
There's some questions in the chat there. I don't know if you see there's Elaine's question: are campuses funding international travel if needed? I mean, not necessarily for you, Jay, but anybody else want to chime in on that?
At Brockport, it's very limited. We don't have special, I think right now, we don't have special funding for the international travel, but we can use our FSA, what's it called, the FSA money, like I think 500 to 750 per year, we can use that, and we can apply for internal grants. I see.
This is Elaine. The reason I'm asking you is that, at FIT, I oversee the faculty funding for travel research. I was told no international travel, at least very, very limited according to CDC guidelines. And I think it's hampering our international programs, visitation and exchange. And I just wondered whether our campus was harsher than the other campuses, or if everyone else is facing the same situation.
Right now, I don't think we can do any, haven't been traveling for since 2020. So
Right.
I think
Maybe it's a universal situation.
Yeah.
SUNY.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of questions in the chat, and then I see Jessamine has her hand up. Diane asked, will you be presenting to the University Faculty Senate? Jay, I think you mentioned that.
No, we are not on the agenda.
You could. And then Carrie asked, could established FLCs present to other campuses on the details of how to start a group? Maybe a better way to have successful smaller groups. Yeah. So if anybody, and I'll answer that question. If anybody has an interest in FLCs, like I said, I have a connection to Brockport. Obviously, I know Jay, and I know others at Brockport who have led FLCs. And if anybody's willing, or everybody wants to set up FLCs on their campus, reach out to me, and I could reach out to folks at Brockport, and I'm sure they'd be willing to talk with you about how to do that on your campus. I mean, again, they're kind of one of these things where if you have a big budget, that's great. Like when we first started them, we had a new provost and she just threw money at them and it was great. But then, that money kind of went, it went down over the years, and they're still chugging along at Brockport, even with a very modest budget. So you don't need a lot of money. So there are definitely many different ways to do them. Jasmine, you want to ask your question? Then I'll keep
Yeah,
going on the
I was
chat.
just gonna actually speak to that possibility about the cross-campus activities and collaborations, and that especially given people's low mental bandwidth and emotional resources right now, maybe something smaller than a full-on FLC. SUNY Plattsburgh here, SUNY Plattsburgh has been really successful collaborating on just a book group with SUNY Oswego. And I can see something like even just like a podcast discussion, a one-time podcast discussion on being an international faculty member or issues of equity, and doing that across teaching centers, or discussing one article, or I've had increasing luck like with a Zoom guest speaker program. So inviting another SUNY person to come just speak to your faculty might work. Those would be like lower investment, but maybe start building some awareness.
So I just want to add one thing. So I was thinking when you were talking about across campus, I think what some benefit, which may be obvious, is some of the campuses have more international faculty too. We have quite a number, as Jay wrote there, but some of them like Binghamton and places like that, I know some of the people left Brockport to work there because they talked about having a large group of people. I wonder if just having connections between places that have more, and maybe there could be more understandings of what they're doing for faculty. Just a thought.
It's a really good thought. It's something that we've been trying to do for years, figure out how to sort of better connect campuses to each other. I mean, I know Oswego and Plattsburgh, John Kane. And John Kane, if he was able to make one of these meetings, he's a busy guy. He's at Oswego's director of their SELT Center. And he said he was willing to talk about that collaborative book club between Plattsburgh and Oswego. But I think just staying those connections up initially is kind of greasing the skids is what we need. We have Workplace just for a little bit longer. That was the big news I wanted to share. Workplace is being, Microsoft is, we're going to move to a Microsoft product. Facebook has decided they want to charge for Workplace now, and we had been getting it for free. So at the end of this semester and end of 21, Workplace will be going away. That was announced earlier this week. So we're going to move to Yammer. I don't know, it's a Microsoft. I haven't looked at it yet. I don't know if it's any good, but I think Workplace has been only moderately successful at that for creating these kind of connections. So within our advisory group for the faculty development community practice, we've been talking for years about other ways we can connect campuses to each other, to share resources, to share ideas, to make connections. So, I'm all ears. I mean, I don't know if there's gonna be one solution to do it all. And maybe just meetings like this so people can talk to each other or one way, but I think we need other ways to do it other than just kind of one-offs. So I'm open to suggestions, and no suggestion's a bad suggestion. That's funny, Ed. No, I already have a 3.5-year-old pug, and he's enough. So no puppies.
I just wasn't expecting another platform change, like I didn't know that was your news.
No, just that Workplace is going away, and what are you gonna do? But the LMS, right? So now we can say desire to learn. We can say it's out there. I don't know that we necessarily have time yet online yet, but we know we're desire to learn. I wanted to actually
leap out the timelines that you did on the first
I
video.
shared the recording on there, and I had to cut the end off of it because I spoke too soon. Spoke out of turn. I actually wanted to go back to something Jessamine posted earlier in the chat. She asked how you're all coping with the emotional labor of faculty right now, and I thought it was a really good question because I think continues to be a challenge for faculty in general, and I thought it was a great question. So if anybody wants to share how you're doing that, I think we'd all appreciate that.
Yeah, specifically getting emails that they're really just emotional outbursts. There's no request for support. There's no inquiry. It's just, and it's about students. It's, oh my God, the students. And it's sent to me. I'm not sure how to respond.
I wonder why they're sending that email to you. You know, is it that you?
So I can reach into my bag of magic beans and make the world better, I guess. I don't know.
How nice that they feel like you could do that. That's actually what I meant is either it's, you know, someone who puts those kind of emails out in the world all the time, which is entirely possible, or you've created a space where, you know, something that is really frustrating, they can vent. Because I think a lot of people need to vent right now, and it has been really tough on me throughout this whole thing, in that the things that I thought I knew about remote learning or distance learning didn't always turn out to be true, you know, and that I've had to adjust the advice that I've given throughout this time to adjust to, you know, the current circumstances. That's been really hard. You know, there's some kind of universal truths that haven't changed. Course organization can never hurt you, you know, but other things, man, I've really changed my mind as we've gone on, and wish that I hadn't given that advice out in the world that I did.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of virtual head nods here, Jessamine, to your question. And also too, I think, you know, acknowledging that, you know, I think if you're getting those emails regularly from faculty, that speaks a lot about, you know, their trust in you to be someone that they can confide in. But I also wanted to say too, that, you know, one of the reasons why I appreciated your question at the outset is because of this topic today. I mean, I think FLCs and creating connections among faculty are the right way to go, right? I mean, so ultimately, you know, you're just a waypoint on other connections that I think that they can make on campus. And so, you know, FLCs are lots of things. That's why I like them. They're, you know, they can be support groups. They can be just kind of a way for faculty to find community and other faculty outside of their department, which I think is really important, because, you know, some departments are, you know, well functioning and faculty find supportive colleagues, but we all know that, you know, that's not true of all departments on campus. And so what they really usually are looking for is just to talk to somebody outside of their department to just kind of get a sympathetic ear. And that's, I think FLCs, if they did nothing else, they did that. I mean, Jay's FLC was like amazing what they accomplished, but I would always tell faculty, really, this is for you. The objective is your professional development, your support. You know, if you accomplish nothing else for the campus, but just find a place to network with colleagues every other week for an hour or two, and just kind of, you know, find that need for yourself, that's what they're all about. And so, you know, any kind of campus accomplishments or deliverables you get are just bonus, right? And so if you can set those things up for your faculty where they, you know, can rely on each other and create those kind of pockets of support for each other, I think that that's, you know, I was always number one on my list of things that I wanted to do when I was at campus.
I think what happened, Chris, too, is we had faculty, staff, and faculty librarians on the group. So it was even more than just faculty. So the support that we gave each other through all different topics and all different things went across, and you got to meet so many. And then, like I said, sometimes you needed someone else, like a librarian or something else, to just, you got to know them, and you got to be collegial and I said, in support of whatever. I will say one thing I want to add to what Chris said also at the end. There's we always from CELT, and Chris always believed this, that, you know, it was about just the faculty learning for professional development. And it's important that people above know that this is what the faculty developed FLCs are for, because at times they would say, well, what's the product? You know, not understanding what an FLC is. So above the person who's doing this, the understanding has to be there also that these groups are for professional development. Just an added thought there, because at times they were asking, what are these groups doing? And what they were doing was what he said, professional growth internally, and not necessarily for the campus. So that was important to let the rest of the campus know that.
Fortunately, it's a little harder to get funding though.
I know.
for something like that, when
Yeah.
you're basically just saying to the administration, I just want some funds just to support faculty groups, and they're not going to have deliverable.
Yeah.
These days, especially, it's a little tricky to get funding for that. But if you can, even just a little bit, even just to buy books for a book club,
Yeah.
I think that's a good outcome. We have a couple more minutes left. Anybody else have any thoughts, questions, concerns, anything they want to bring to the group?
May I just piggyback what Chris mentioned to answer Jasmine's question about the colleagues asking for your help? I think sometimes one of the beauty of the FLC is it's cross-disciplinary. So the faculty don't need to worry about within department politics or something. I think maybe that's the reason why you got so many colleagues emails. Of course, it's talks a lot about you. You're very trustworthy colleague, like to the other colleagues. I think within the FLC, I also has the feeling like our FLC ended 2 years ago, and until now, we still have a pretty close relationship with each other. And maybe because we're not from the one small department, so a lot of times I don't need to get involved in the department politics, etc. And then maybe that's another reason why the colleagues are willing to come to us to share some concerns, and maybe they think we can provide some suggestions as an outsider's perspective. So, thanks.
Yeah, I'm looking at your comment there, Jasmine. I think that's a skill. Maybe it's a competency, a faculty developer, educational developer competency. We need to do a better job of helping to promote among those of us doing this work, and that, that whole kind of, you come to me directly with this kind of, I needs an emotional crisis, and I'm going to just dump this all on you. And how do we reflect, right? How do we turn that into a moment of, okay, how can we figure out what the problem is, and maybe I can help you with that. But sometimes, I think we are there just to kind of listen and kind of nod our heads and just maybe make them feel supported. I mean, it's just always a tricky question of when you feel like you're being taken advantage of, or if they're crossing a line, and that's always a case-by-case thing. Yeah. Maybe we need people that work in counseling to help us with that. Yeah, that's true. What are we about? We're supposed to, we can't be all things to all people, but oftentimes, we are. All right, well, we have a minute left. I want to thank our presenters today, Ya-Ling, Jay, and thank you so much. That was fantastic. Hope to see many of you in about 2 weeks. Again, it'll be on a Tuesday next time. And have a good rest of your week next week, and take care, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.